All right. So, guys, I'm so excited because today is a little bit of different episode. As you all know, if you're following this channel, we've been building software and we would like to step back a little bit. The reason why is we're building the marketing aspect of it. We're getting customers, we're running ads. We will tell you more about it as we get, result. Whatever result that we'll get, we'll definitely post in this channel. So continue subscribing to Growth Mafia TV. But this episode is going to be quite exciting. I'm excited because, Gideon here is has always been the type of person who continuously invested in his personal growth, right? When I met him again, because we've been friends for a long time, but I met him again online about maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago. Gideon has talked about like him investing on his, mental skills and habits, all these kind of things. And I'm quite excited just to hang out with him. But last week, right, Gideon? Gideon just spent
Mhm.
a couple of days with his 7, 8 figure mastermind group, right? And what I
Yes.
would like to do in this episode is that try to, because I haven't been in a mastermind group. I've been in a mastermind group, many mastermind groups, in fact, but I haven't been in a 7 to 8 figure mastermind group. And when he told me about it, it was over the phone. I didn't know why he was traveling. And I thought, like, man, like, really? And I get so excited. Like, Gideon, I want to know, like, the difference it will make in terms of, like, how you think because you're surrounded. There's a really powerful quote, right? That I don't know if you've heard of this. That you are the average of the 4 to 5 people that you surround yourself with. And to me, being around people who are dreamers and not just dreamers, they already achieve a level of success, and you're around them, you're breathing the same air, you're listening to these ideas. I want to know what it's like, right? So Gideon, well, I'm gonna be interviewing you a little bit here, and we can just
Okay.
go back and forth, right? But I want to know one is like, what's a mastermind group for those people who are curious about that? Like, it's a big word.
Yeah, mastermind pretty much a gathering of, like-minded individuals. And in my case, it's more of like the people there are like already there, like making 7 figures, 8 figures. And as you said, there's that sense of you're being elevated to their level of thinking. And that's it's like you're in a group wherein it's different from any other group. If you haven't been, you just group. I'm not saying you don't spend time with your friends, but it's kind of different because the way people talk, the way they think, it rubs on you and it changes the way you think. And yeah, you become the average of those people.
Right,
And it
right.
was such a great experience. I would say it's definitely a great investment on myself. And speaking of investment, you said, right, that I invest. I want to share a story. Like, I think it was 10 years ago, you reached out to me and you bought me a book. And I'll never forget that. It kind of fueled me to, to
Really?
continue
That's a
invest
long time
and
ago.
learn. Yes, yes. I forget the name of the book, but
I
yeah,
remember. It's
is that
called it's called
Miracle something or
Morning Habit by
Morning something? Something?
Hal Elrod. I'm googling now. Yeah, it's the Miracle Morning.
Miracle Morning.
Yeah.
And I was saying it's also great to have friends who invest in you. Like what you did. Like
Yay!
it's kind of an investment, right?
I'm
Gave me
I'm
a
sur-
book.
I'm surprised that you remember that because I thought like, I was in the Philippines, right? And you were
Mm-hmm.
already in, was it Canada already, or was it,
We're in Texas already. Yeah.
you're already in Texas, and we haven't spoken for a really long time, right? And just
Mm-hmm.
thought about
Yes.
it. I was like, "Yeah, let me send Gideon this book. I really, really like it."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then I sent that to you. Um, I was wondering, like, because, out of the blue, I messaged you, right? It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
weird. But anyway, I'm glad that you remember that.
So it was a good investment, even though I don't remember what I learned from the book. But all I can say is definitely get me going, and to learn as much as I can, invest in myself, and yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things I realized too. Like because my wife has been talking to me that okay, this year we'll see breakthrough and we'll see the fruits of of what we invest. And yeah, that's kind of because I've been in this mastermind. It's my third time. The first one, I was like, man, it's like
Is it different mastermind group? It's the
it's
third
the same.
mastermind group?
It's the same mastermind group, but
Okay.
we were all like newbies, most of us. But there was there was this sense of a lot of dopamine high times. Like we were so pumped up, and
What do you mean? Like, is that like when you're joining like multi-level marketing and like you're always like
no, no,
like that or no?
no, not like that. I think it's because I'm new, so everything is new
Wow.
ideas, and this is how you do it, and they're just like, you know, teaching you this is how you can start your business. These
Okay.
are the things you
So
need.
it's you were quite excited. Was it the first meeting? That was the first face-to-face meeting. Are you describing that?
Yeah, I'm describing that. The first one, I was like, there's such excitement, and I was pumped up for like 2 months after that meeting.
Did you sleep enough?
No,
You
I
were
sleep enough.
excited. You were, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I realized then when that excitement and motivation runs out, then that's when, okay, now I'm stuck and I'm not moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because that feeling, that dopamine is no longer there, that excitement is no longer there. And now I'm having trouble. Okay, how can I push myself to continue? And yeah, I think that's a good.
I'm curious about that.
Mhm,
How did you continue? I mean, a lot of people can relate to that, right? You get
mhm,
something new, you get excited with this concept. Maybe you join, you don't even have to join the mastermind. Let's just say
mhm,
there's an online challenge that you join and you see this
mhm,
speaker and they're like full of wisdom and they're imparting so much to you. And you're thinking to yourself, like, yeah, this is it. I'm just gonna follow through. I'm gonna take action. It's gonna be a different it's gonna be an amazing year. And then you go off by yourself and then you realize that you're losing steam because obviously one is and there's a lot of things that you realize there's a lot of things that you don't know yet and you're
mhm.
trying cannot connect from where you are to where you're supposed to be, right? That is am I describing something that, can you relate to that? Is that the
Yes, yes.
situation? Okay.
Yeah,
how
so
did you
so
how did you move forward from that feeling?
so what I did is, this every time there's something shiny, now you go to this new
Yeah,
thing to
it's
keep you going,
the
keep you excited.
shiny, what was that they call it? The
Shiny syndrome.
syndrome,
Something.
right.
Yeah. So I was doing that,
That as well. Yeah.
and and I was like, okay, I was distracted from my original goal. So the reason I joined that mastermind was to pursue entrepreneurship and build a business, right? A startup like a software. That was the idea. Build something that I can sell. But when that excitement runs out, that steam runs out, I was like, okay, distracted to other things. Like, okay, let me explore trading. That's when instead of doing the business, I did trading, and then that's where I went to, like, I don't know how you describe it, like in a downward, in
All
a
right.
wrong direction. Yeah, the lesson there, one thing is you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Like if your plan was to do this, you have to stick with it regardless of your feelings, right? Regardless of whether you have
Yeah.
motivation or not. And it took me months to learn that, and months and money to learn that lesson. And even with trading, in order to be successful too, you have to be consistent,
Consistent.
like to
Right.
stick with one strategy and keep on doing, repeating, and until it gets boring, and just stay consistent. But that was what happened to me. I got distracted. I didn't stick with the plan. I went to do other things and then learned it the hard way.
All right. Thanks
So,
for sharing that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not easy to share. I mean, it's so easy to share success,
yeah.
right? But it's very difficult to share hardships and those moments where you realize you were not growing and we're stagnating and you realize you made wrong decisions. I mean, I it's very hard to share that, I would say. So thanks for sharing that. And for you who is listening to this, I mean, if you're experiencing the same thing, right? Like we're on the same boat, and this is why we're building Growth Mafia, so that if you're passionate about growth, right? If you're passionate about growing as a person, personal growth or business growth or career growth, like join the mafia. because what we're gonna do is one, we'll be very, very honest with you on what worked for us, and we're gonna be very, very honest with you on like how all the steps that we're trying to do to get to the next step, the next level. And we're not gonna show you our garage because our garage is only one car on it, right? So it doesn't have all the all the fluff, right? I mean, all the things, right? So yeah, I mean, thanks for sharing that, Gideon. I'm curious now. You came there to the mastermind. That maybe like a very high level. Can you tell me maybe like a couple of things that you really learned that's really major in that mastermind?
Yeah. So with this mastermind, it's kind of like a fresh start again. And that's when it hit me that, oh, this one feels different than the previous one. Because the previous ones, I was young, I was like naive, I was like
You were
driven by
17.
feelings. So I mean, young at this
Just kidding.
entrepreneurship. And but this one, it's different because all those things, all those lessons are already there. So and the people that I'm with, they've already gone through probably similar challenges.
Are they your age
And
or is it
no,
older?
I think all of them are older than me.
Oh,
So
that's
there's
good. I really love to be
uh,
in that spot. You know that you're the youngest because I feel like there's a lot of I feel like I would feel like I need to. There's a lot of you looking up and saying to yourself like, yeah, I can learn from these guys.
yeah. And the difference is kind of the past years I've already built that foundation. I'm already familiar with the with how you run a business. So it's kind of opened me up to learn more, like next level stuff in my perspective. So it was great. So there we were talking about two ideas. Mainly one is media and the second one is AI.
Cool topics.
Most Yes, yes, and most of it we focus on AI, and because the one who's leading the mastermind, my mentor, he was like have this experience where because of AI, he ended up letting go of all his employees because he can now do things in his business using AI,
Yeah.
and it saved him like 60K a month on payroll. And yeah, that made us realize when he showed, okay, if you run a business, you gotta have this thing. You have like, you're gonna have a way to generate leads, to make a sale, and to what's it called this, to fulfill your promise or the product or whatever service you're doing. And then you gotta have like IT, and looking at those areas, most of it you can automate. And that's what he did. And now it's him and his family like running the business. And yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So that's with AI. So we did
What's the other one? Media, right?
media.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so he was talking about acquiring media channels. So this like attention right now is it's they say it's the number one currency. If you get people attention, then you're going to get their
So wait, so when my thinking, initial thinking about media buying was like buying newspaper ad spots, TV spots, and things like this. Is a traditional media, right? So you're talking about channels that are like Instagram or Facebook or a YouTube channel.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's doing like media, buying media. I believe I still don't fully grasp it, but from what I understood, since he already owns this, media, he totals all the subscribers and viewers of that media. Let's say uh, it's in millions now. So if
Yeah.
he has a product or something, if he has an offer, he have access to those media channels,
That's
like
quite
a
awesome.
distribution channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So think of it like, if you drink sodas like Coke, yep, they have like distribution channel.
Walmart and then
Mhm.
the what are the other
Mhm.
the Macy's.
Target. Yeah.
Target. Right. You know what stick to me while you're talking is not a clear about that. It's the fact that your mentor let go of many of his employees, right? And
Mhm.
one of the things that's really that people usually ask when it comes to AI. whether in person or like just browsing through like your social media, is my job at risk? And like, did you talk about that? Like, even you, right? You have a 9 to 5 as well. So are you thinking about that? But at the same time, you have an advantage because you have an entrepreneurial spirit. You're actually launching like startups now, and you're engaging yourself. You're always growing. That's very, very important. Like, what's your thought on that? Is your job at risk, or like generally, what type of jobs are at risk?
Yeah, from what I see during the mastermind, it's those jobs that those repetitive jobs, especially when you're dealing with a computer doing the same thing. And one example probably is you're doing, I don't know,
In coding.
encoding. Yes, yes, that's a good example.
I used to work
Or
for this company, and my job was to open a PDF file, and it has like a handwritten like notice of their leave when the
Mhm.
day, and I encode that on a computer, right? And while I was doing that, I do feel like once this AI team thing shows up, I'm gonna be replaced fast. And so
Mhm.
I that's why it occurred to me. That's why I suggested it. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I think they now have a benchmark. I forgot the the term, but they have a benchmark where they studied like one company and they let AI do that job,
they did
and
experiment.
while the actual employee is doing, and they compare. And I believe when they started doing it, it was like, I don't know, 50% or 40%. So the AI was able to do that. And then like, but a few months after, it went to like 70%, and it was so like a parabolic
Yeah.
progress. And probably now it's at 90%. And then right when we end the mastermind, we saw a news of the IMF saying that 40% of the global workforce will be affected. I think it was 60% of the global workforce, or it was like companies that are like, are digital or advanced companies. They will be affected by AI, and then 40% or 30% for the rest of the global workforce.
Definitely
It's
very
a
scary. Definitely very scary in my mind, right? With this kind of thinking of like, where is my job at risk? I really believe that, when I don't know if you remember when the internet became a thing. I think
Mhm.
when I started with the internet, it was back in 2000, my first taste of the internet. My first taste of computer, like in general, I haven't opened a computer in my life. The first one was back in year 2000, right? This was after just we're after the Y2K bug scare, right? And I created my very first email. And the
Mhm.
conversation back then is, well, the internet replaced jobs, right?
Okay.
That was the discussion as well. How will the internet replace jobs, right? And for every time we transition to a new level, a new type of technology, it does replace jobs. When the electricity was invented, I've read about this. That do you know that in the streets there used to be a lamppost lighter? It used to be a job where
Mhm.
you have a where you basically light the lamppost on the
Okay.
street. Like every night, that's someone's job, full time job, right?
Mhm.
But you don't see that anymore. Electricity makes it redundant. I mean, makes it obsolete, not redundant,
Obsolete.
obsolete.
Mhm.
And so when the internet came in, it changed the whole landscape, right?
Yeah.
And now AI, when AI came in, and we're here, we're using it, and I feel like the adoption is so much faster than when we had internet.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way? The adoption. So from a adoption standpoint, a lot of people are like jumping into to AI. And so there's a question of what type of jobs. I have a post in LinkedIn where I talk about not just jobs that's going to be replaced, but the whole industry, right? A whole
Mhm.
industry will be replaced. And it's just because we're transitioning to new technology. Now, the question right now is, what is it that you're planning to do? If that is the case, it's not a question of, will my job be at risk? Everyone's job is at risk at some point. But the question is, what are you going to do now? Are you going to, one, stop using AI, and in hope of you stopping using AI will not be, will not, AI adoption will stop growing, right? If how many billions of people, we are like 9 billion right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, I don't know how many people have used AI. Let's just say 2 billion. So we still have 7 billion people haven't used AI yet, right? If like the 7 billion will say, you know what, we're not going to use AI. We're not going to use ChatGPT. We're not going to use this. You're not going to use that. Do you think it will ever stop the rate of adoption, right? Now, likely
That's a
it
good
won't
question.
stop. It will
Mm-hmm.
continue. Industries. Now, businesses, the thing with businesses is that it will always look for the least amount of investment and the highest amount of return. That's always the mission of any business. And so you can guess it. The business, the people who are running your business, the owners of the business, they're always thinking, how can we leverage AI? That's their question, right? So I guess right now it is a question of what are you going to do? This is going to happen with or without you adapting AI. You
Mm-hmm.
can, I mean, I've seen this in LinkedIn. A lot of people say, yeah, you know what, vibe coding sucks. Don't do it. And I'm a developer. Have a lot. I mean, people would say this kind of things wherein don't do it. And in my mind, okay, but someone else will do it, and they'll be
Mm-hmm.
so good at it. And the way they're training the with AI on how to write it's getting better. So definitely there's that, and that is a
Mm-hmm.
fact. And so, what is your plan now? My suggestion is go right in, try to understand it as much as you can, have a growth mindset, and think about what's the best way moving forward. Because I can't tell you what's the best way moving forward. And the reason
Mm-hmm.
why I can't tell you because I also don't know. I'm also trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure things out. But instead of cowering and saying, you know what, my job will get replaced, I'm an encoder. Instead of saying that, it's like, how can I leverage? Because if you have this kind of mindset, I believe that you're able to find yourself in a world that you can adapt. And that's the strength
Mm-hmm.
of being a human being, right? Being able to adapt. Speaking of, and it's a question for you, Gideon, do you think that AI won't replace your critical thinking? Because like to me, that makes us human, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the way we think. I believe that's probably one of the last ones that, that goes away.
Yeah, I don't think it will replace your critical thinking for the reason that I believe that, we are all, what's the term? We are all, sorry, we are all creative beings,
Right.
and AI is pretty much a super computer, but it still can't, replace you have this judgment, this emotion, this, gut feeling on when you deal with things, and AI doesn't have feelings. So
Yeah. So
I would
I
say,
agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
mm,
Continue, please.
and yeah, so from looking at that, then yeah, I can say it won't replace your critical thinking, and it's very important that you have that, right? Because otherwise, you know, you would just be pulled over or just go with the flow, and it won't help you
Right.
in the long term. Because by nature, you would, if you're not intentional and if you're not a critical thinker, you would just drift, and it will stop you from growing.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll get stagnated, right? But I really agree with critical thinking. Critical thinking, like I said, it's probably one of the last things to go. Will AI eventually have the ability to 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 critically analyze things to the point that it will say this, and it's doing that in some way, right? It's trying to
Mhm.
tell you if you're talking to ChatGPT or Claude, it will give you like these are your options. You have three options, but I think the third option. That's critical thinking, in my opinion. By the end of the day, though, in terms of the status now of the capability of AI right now, it is still you, the prompter, the user of AI, who will make a decision on how to move forward. AI will give you
Yeah.
options. So to me, it will enhance your critical thinking in some way because it will open you
Yeah.
to multiple options. It will tell you, this is my recommendation. So it's like having an expert laying down like possibilities for you. Obviously, AI is not perfect.
Mm.
It will make mistakes, right? It's there in the bottom of your chat GPT. It says chat GPT makes mistakes, right? So it's very important to think. And that's where you come in. You come in and think about like what are the implications of this? Is AI correct in this
Mhm.
recommendation, right? So yeah, critical is one of the last things to go. And I just have the feeling that it will also grow to a point that it will be very, very precise, and it will also able to weigh things critically. different
Mhm.
ideas critically. All right. So yeah, uh, we don't know. We're kind of in a place right now where we think it can grow. Like I was listening to Naval Ravikant, and
Mhm.
he said this was 6 years ago. Though I would like to hear his opinion today. But 6 years ago, he said we're so far from what's called AGI or artificial general intelligence. We're so far from that. That was 6 years ago. I'm
Mhm.
wondering now if he still believes the same way because 6 years ago, AI is kind of weird, wonky, and there's a lot of people, to me, but today it's pretty good, right? What you
Mhm.
say? It's pretty
Yeah.
good. And so to me now, I'm wondering if his thoughts on that. Are we closer to general artificial intelligence, which is the goal of which is called the singularity. If you're watching the Terminator, that's when an AI can produce AI that are better than itself, right? So we don't know if that will ever happen. And we don't know it might. There's a good chance that it will. Speaking of jobs being replaced, speaking of like AI, speaking of critical thinking, there's a lot of opportunities, right? Like if you're thinking about just your job, like what's the next step for you, right? Speaking of that,
Mhm.
there's a lot of critical thinking, sorry, not critical thinking, but there's a lot of opportunities. Part of which is what we've demonstrated here in Growth Mafia, which is actually building tools using
Mhm.
AI. But one of the things that probably are people are asking right now is like, how can I get from where I am, where I'm just using ChatGPT, to building actually complex using these AI tools without and building software or building systems without writing code because I'm not
Mhm.
a code writer. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a developer, right? What are your thoughts on that?
That's a good topic. Actually, there's one, uh, actually two. No, I would say in the mastermind group we were like seven there, not including the mentor. But one person, one lady, she she's already spent like thousands of dollars just to build her website and her funnel. And even the last one, she's ready to pay 2K for this guy to build the whole thing, the whole sales funnel, and she already paid like 5K. And then at the workshop, we were we were like, going over how to use AI to build our business. And one of the things we did is to build our landing page. And she has no background at all with she's not technical. That's why she spent money to do the tech stuff for her. And then she was so, amazed and that she was able to create this landing page for her business. And it's the one that she expects and she likes and the page that she really wanted. And she can tell the difference with her experience with dealing with, with
Yeah,
those agency that sometimes once they deliver, sometimes she cannot really, okay, it's okay. I
she
don't want
can't take
to.
over, right? She can take
Mhm.
over because it's complex.
Mhm. It's complex.
Really complex.
Yeah, and she was able to do it. And okay, I need to make adjustment. And you just tell AI that okay, can you change this? And then one of the guy was telling her, and she got stuck. Now it keeps on asking me to do this, and then go tell AI, hey, you're the expert. Why don't you help me fix it and do it? And she was so amazed that she
How
she
old
got
was
a
she?
working. I think she's on her 60s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. And I think, sometimes you try to disqualify yourself from doing something because you might
Mhm.
feel like, oh, maybe I'm too old for this. Maybe I'm too
Mhm.
old for AI. Maybe I'm too old for ChatGPT. Maybe I'm too old to use Claude or Riplet or Lovable. But the reality of the situation is these platform were created with you in mind. Wherein
Mhm.
the least amount the least technical person can actually get in and produce result as if you are a technical person, and that's quite
Mhm.
amazing. When they first discuss when I first heard of AI as coders, as programmers, I thought to myself, that's impossible. It took me years to learn a language and to build on top of it. And it's an ever evolving and revolving technology, right? And so told myself that maybe AI or maybe like a Replit or a Lovable, I don't there was no name back then when they started talking about this. Their goal was to take anyone and absolutely any one of the 9 billion people in this planet and put them in front of their software and put them and have them use the platform and they can build their mobile app. And in my mind,
Mm.
like that's wild. But I think they can. I really
Yep.
think they can. I really think now, is it gonna be like a really big application? Is it gonna be a really complex system? Maybe there's some level of limitations there, but I believe they can as they start as people, as anyone could start learning and using the tools for sure. And if you're thinking, where do I start? Like what would you say, Gideon? Where do I start?
Yep. I would say you start being aware of problems around you. And if you see a problem, ask yourself, okay, how do I solve this problem? Is the solution something that can be done using AI? For example, during the mastermind, one of the issues was uh, we're using a tool, Go High Level, and we're using AI to build a landing page, copy it to Go High Level, and then add the nurturing email sequence.
Really?
And then with doing the Go High Level, it's kind of old way of doing things. And you have a workflow, you have to do this and
Yeah.
that, and just for the email sequence. And I say that's a problem. Since that's a problem, if I could build something like an email AI assistant
Right.
where it can build the email nurturing sequence and a smarter one that can be done with just one prompt, and then it will create a
It
service.
you taught you how to do that, or it was your own like it was your own idea?
So that's what I noticed when we were doing it. It took us a
Ah,
lot of time to
yeah,
deal
'cause
with
I
the
remember
one.
we were using Lovable or was it Triplet? I don't remember which one. You can actually create that using resend, right? Like you can have
Yeah,
resend, send it.
yeah.
You can tell Lovable like what email to send. You can set up a 7-day email
Mhm,
sequence script. I by the way, like just for you guys who are watching, I've used I've used Go High Level. I built Go High Level for clients. I've built landing pages in the past, and I might still work for client projects now, but
mhm,
obviously, like for our personal projects with Gideon and I in Growth Mafia, in App Software, in Fill My Chair, in Revenue Coach, all these guys we're not using this third party. We're solely using Lovable or Replit to build this. But yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I can see
That's
right away why you thought of that because like for you and I, we never really thought of creating an email sequence inside like a Go High Level or Active Campaign or what's the monkey? Uh,
yeah, Mailchimp.
Mailchimp, the monkey. All right, yeah. Sorry.
The idea is if you start to be aware of any problem and ask yourself, is this something that I can have a solution and use AI to build it quickly? So yeah, because before without AI, you can just imagine and think, and but it will take you months or years to come up with a solution. And by then it's probably too late, and you've already spent money or resources and time, and then you realize, oh, there's no market. The market is not buying it. But with AI, if you found a problem, build a solution, ship it in 1 or 2 days, and test it if someone
Yeah,
wants to buy it.
guys, I just redesigned our website. If you go to app.software, I redesigned it really simple, and that's what I'm really going for. I'm looking for like a simple one. The previous one was okay, but I feel like I want to showcase that the company is going are building software. That's what I want. I want a website that says so. If you go to app.software, I can share that super quick because I built that in Lovable. I think I spent maybe an hour building that. This is what it looks like. It's simple. It's a Notiony. It's Notiony, and it has all the products that we are currently working on. And these are like we build and co-found. And then if you look at like our work here, if you look at our work, these are like the right size solution, tailor fit. I might change this, but as it is, guys, this is what I did also is I gave Lovable the previous portfolio. I said, take the project portfolio from this and then built it inside here. And I think the contact page is not working yet. But here we are, it's easy. I also asked it to recreate the the logo. I not sure if I'm in love with this design, but that's the thing. Like I'm able to build it in an hour. I didn't write a single line of code. That's really what's cool about it. Speaking
Yeah.
of this, one of the things that maybe you're in situation is that you're like me and Gideon. You have a 9 to 5 job, right? And you're thinking of launching your first AI product, right? And you might be thinking, like, you might be thinking, can I do that? And if I can, like, what are the steps for me to get there? Gideon, maybe we can go back and forth with this topic.
Okay. Yep. I would say the first step, if you have an idea, is go talk to ChatGPT and brainstorm the idea. ChatGPT can help you get clarity on the idea, refine your idea, and then it can even give you guidance on like, okay, how can you start working on this? And it can help you with planning, or if there's anything that you think is blocking you from doing it, it you can talk to it and it would just clear the path for you to not have an excuse to do and implement. So that's the first step, I would say.
Right, good. And let me just build on top of that, right? So one is you have to go back and forth to defining refining the idea, right? So that's product refinement or idea refinement, not product refinement. The key thing, and this is something that Gideon and I we've been going back and forth, realize we should have done this in the very beginning for growth mafia, right? And it is
Hmm.
this: it is make sure that it's validated idea. Like how do you
Hmm.
validate that? So once you refine your idea, you need to validate it. That's the next step. So how do you validate your idea? One is to find buyers right away,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Find people. You want to check if people will pay for it, right? And maybe
Mhm.
Gideon, you can give me like some ideas on like how to find buyers or like how to validate ideas.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. So once you have a clear understanding of your idea, right? So now you can the easiest way is to go reach out to your network, your friends, your family, your colleagues, and start saying, okay, I'm planning to build this app or this business that helps this audience do this to get that. And what do you think? And they say, oh, if they say, oh, that's a good idea, I would love to use it. Like one example is the idea about Finn, Joe, right? When you talk to your friend and then, oh, I would love to use it. So that's one validation. So that's one way. And then you can start, I would say, you can start selling the idea even without building it yet. So that way you don't waste time and effort, time and money building something that's not been validated. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's.
and I would say to add to that, like make sure they pay, right?
Mhm.
Because people can always say, yeah, that's a great idea. But the real test is did they put their money where their mouth is, right?
Yeah.
And so we have so many, like we're learning, like with Fill My Chair, the mentor, revenue mentor, right? We're gonna share. I know Gideon here has already been started working on validating Fill My Chair, and I hope it will be a success. And if it will be a success, we'll share it in this channel. So
Yeah.
like and subscribe. If it will fail, we'll still share it in
Well,
this. So like and subscribe, right? So that's the thing. Validate it, and then once you validate it, start building. Use a software called Driplet or Lovable, and these guys should be paying us at this point because we've been promoting
well,
them. I don't know. There's probably other software, and if you're a founder of software that we can use, right? That you think Growth Mafia can use, like
yeah.
hit us in a comment section, and we'll reach out. Let's make things happen. If you think you're competing with Replit and you can compete with Replit and you can compete with Lovable. Like we're an open book. We're not married to these guys. And we
Mhm.
want to see, of course, like test it, right? And so, yeah. All right. So let's move. This is gonna be the last section of our last part of our episode today. Let's go from career, and we talk about mastermind, we talk about like personal growth, we talk about like business growth, especially, and just going out there and utilizing it. I would like to go personal. And I don't know, Gideon, if you've done this, but how did you ever use AI to help you in your like personal life, like either, I don't know, I don't want to put ideas in your mind, but with regards to like learning or fitness or focus or like managing your to-do list? How do you have you done that?
Yeah, I think I've done that a couple of times. One example is like on how what's the best way. No, let me give some context. So my 8-year-old, we're kind of having challenges with him in terms of homeschool work. And in that area, instead, before you have to Google, research and read a bunch of articles. But now you can like, okay, what are ways you can deal with this kind of challenges? Like, and then, yep, the AI can give you, and it got that from all these resources that exist, right? All these books that's been there, and it can give you like, okay, it doesn't always give you just one answer. It gives you like multiple, and from there you can use your critical thinking and good judgment to say, okay, this makes sense, and then you can dig farther. Let's say if it suggests that, okay, probably it'd be a good idea to hire a tutor, and that way it would reduce stress as parents. And then you can further explore that. Okay, I'll try this having a tutor, and where can I find? What should I do? Yeah, I've used it in that way, and it's helped. So now we found one math tutor, and it lessened the stress and made us more have a happier day
Awesome.
than
Right,
ever.
that's so cool. And for sure, guys who are watching, you might be thinking, I need to improve in certain area of my life. I need to lose weight. You can, and I've done this. I need to lose weight. So I added, this is how I weigh now. I want to do this. Can you give me, then can you give me steps? Can you give me
Hmm.
meal plans? Can you give me, it will tell you all these things. In the Philippines, all my life, I will kid you not, I've done almost zero amount of cooking. Like zero, like zilch. I am very little, I cook very little. I will always pride myself that I can, one, cook rice, and then two is I can boil an egg, right? And three, maybe like sunny side up.
Instant noodles.
Yes, yeah. So I've always prided myself that, and then coming into a new country where we didn't have any hired help. We're not rich, by the way. It's just that in the Philippines you can hire help. Here it's and at the less expensive rate. But in here it's very expensive, and we can't afford it essentially. And so what I did is but I'm responsible for cooking, primarily because my wife is still in school. There's just so much responsibility. I don't want to put that on her shoulder. And what I did was I used ChatGPT to prepare a to teach me how to cook. And what I did
Mm.
was take a photo of all the ingredients and I ask for a recipe. And will show me a recipe and I follow it. And
Oh,
then
nice.
there you go. I have a meal. So that's one, right? That's one. There's just so many ways I've done that I've used where I've used ChatGPT and Claude to brainstorm. One of which is I put all my to-do lists and I will help ask it to organize it. For example, the other thing is episodes in Growth Mafia. I'm asking it to like, what are the ways for me to convey, big, really good value to the people who are watching Growth Mafia TV. And it will give me some ideas and I'll consider it. A lot of them we execute here in this channel. And then there's just so many ways. And like in terms of amount of sleep, how can I sleep better? I also check, for example, like dosage, right? So I don't get overdose of certain like vitamins or like if taking melatonin. Like yeah, so there's just so many ways that I've used to make my life in so much better shape, right? So yeah, there's just you can do it as well. I mean, I don't want to be like just praising AI, but I'm really like talking about AI because it's a very significant component of my life so far. And I don't know if it's gonna change. I'm gonna be more attached to it, but right now that's how I've been using it. I use it as an extra brain, so I can
Mhm.
expand and I can do more and become more productive, whether as a father, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, right? Having a 9 to 5. So yeah, you can do it as well. All right. Okay. So with that, we've talked about so much things. We started with Mastermind, and now we're at the very tail end of this episode. I'm just so happy, Gideon. Thank you for sharing your story with your Mastermind. I'm just really curious, and this is like for some people who are thinking of joining Mastermind, like how much is the investment there?
It was my first and the biggest investment to myself.
Okay,
So
give
it's
me give me a range from what you know and like I mean, if you're comfortable with sharing, of course. that's fine. But maybe you have a range, like you
five
found
figure.
the mastermind as low as this, as an SI as this.
Yeah, I paid 5 figures. So,
5 digits. What is
yeah,
that? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. At least 10K. Right.
at least.
Okay. Amazing. Okay. But yeah, I
But
mean, to me, what
I would say it's the best investment you can make
I am really looking
for yourself.
forward to joining one. Like I'm in the process. I really recognize like mentors and surrounding myself with people who can help me grow and mature and also really fast track, because that's what you're really paying for, right? You're paying
Hmm.
for the speed, the things that you can learn by yourself versus the things that you can learn with people around you. It's so much,
Hmm.
it's a night and day thing. And to me, you need to surround yourself with people who are so much better than you and smarter than you. And that's what I like. I want to be the dumbest person in the room. Someone said that if you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. And so with that, guys, thank you so much
That's
for
true.
joining us with this in this wonderful, wonderful episode. I hope you have learned something. I hope you've learned one thing or two. We didn't do any build this week, but I'm just proud to say that we're preparing a lot of content for you with respect to building, public building. We're gonna do more of that in the future. Right now, we're just really making sure that the products that we build, they are validated. And that's very, very important. That's a mission right now for Growth Mafia. And we will tell you more about it in the next episode. Ian, we'd like to say a final word before we go.
Yeah, don't be afraid with AI. Don't use AI to your advantage. That's what I would say.
Awesome. Thank you so
And don't
much.
forget to like and subscribe.
There you go. That's what's the most important part. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching us and see you in the next build. Goodbye for now.
Bye bye.